That's more, okay? I try him well. I try him well.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again for tuning into LIBERIA Public Radio this evening. We want to thank you. Thank you. Please share this video. Share this video for us. Sorry for coming on late, but technical issues from time to time. And as Mr. So will correct his state, I'm still learning, he says, and I'm truly still learning. He will be joining us here very shortly. We have a lot of issues here tonight, but I hope the analysts will join us here very shortly. But in the meantime, we want to thank all of you here for tuning into LIBERIA Public Radio. If you just some of the things that I was doing late this evening was I was going through some of the program that I've been having since I don't know when, but I went way back to 2019. And I couldn't believe some of the subject matter that I was talking about. And here we are, 2022. And it was just amazing. Some of the things we talked about, and we're realizing some of them, and we'll say thank you. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening for bringing us here again. Lord, we ask you to continue to bless us. Continue to provide the blanket of love, blanket of blessing, blanket of protection that you have for all of us. We say thank you. We say thank you. My Lord, we're coming on again tonight. Please wash our tongue. We ask you to guide us as we say whatever is going to come out of our mouth must be something of a decent nature. My Lord Jesus, only through you everything is possible. I ask you, my Lord, to bless the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. Bless the United States of America, the host country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's go on. Look, I'm going to have fun here tonight. Quite recent. I mean, unbelievable what is happening right now. It's unbelievable. So the issue of the president traveling is something of a concern, but the president has the right to, whatever he sees necessary, whether it be in the interest of the Liberian people, he's the president. We don't make that determination. If he thinks he's going to go for 2 months, so be it. The only issue that I have, next year is going to be, he must have so much confidence. The confidence is oozing through the house of the executive mansion. The confidence this president has in the fact that he's most likely going to be re-elected, he's saying. It's unbelievable. Because that's the only way. If you don't have that much confidence, why will you travel for 8 weeks or so, 6 weeks or more out of the country of the Republic of Liberia? While he was gone, though, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia issued a warrant for the arrest of the finance minister. I think most likely Samuel will probably skip the country already. The reason being because according to the story that they have not gotten paid. And I'm not too sure what you're going to put the finance minister in jail without making the right and check for. Only in Liberia, my people. Only in Liberia. The finance minister has now been issued a arrest warrant, according to the story, because the Supreme Court and the justice have not gotten paid. Well, what do they think about other people who also work for the government who also have not gotten paid? What makes them think that because they haven't gotten paid, therefore this finance minister? Why did you put a finance minister? Why didn't you issue an arrest warrant some time ago when other people were not getting paid? This is something that I keep saying. Our people are not sensitive to many issues until it comes to them. And that's what I keep saying to all of us, especially this coming 2023 election. We have to be careful. If the thing is not with you, if it hadn't gotten to you, it doesn't mean it's not going to reach you. We're all connected. We're all connected. So the president, I mean, the finance minister should have been warned long time ago. This is not the first time that civil servants have not gotten paid 2, 3, 4 months. And now the justices are feeling the same pinch that the civil servant, the real civil servant are feeling. Now all of a sudden they issue an arrest warrant for the finance minister. I said the finance minister can just waive it once. Why if they don't have the money? Why if the money is not in the bank? They must just write you a check, you want to cash it. It's not a laughing matter. I'm just laughing because of people's behavior. The behavior of the justices to issue an arrest warrant for the finance minister. So the finance minister, you're going to arrest him, you put him in jail. So who want to write you? If he's sitting in jail, you want to write you a check? Or you're going to, it's a threat on his head. If you don't pay us, we'll put you in jail. Is that how the government of Liberia going to run now? So what's about the other companies, construction company, engineering company, many other companies in Liberia do business with the Liberian government that have yet to get paid? The rice importer, do they have, because they don't have the power of arrest warrant? What are you saying? That the arrest warrant that is so important in terms of justice, dispensers of justice in the Republic of Liberia is not going to be used for copper rice. It will say, pay us or you're going to go to jail. Pay us or you're going to go to jail. My people, on a very serious note, this is not something that we should take lightly. The arrest warrant, if it's just because the finance minister have not issued you a check, why if there's no money? Why will you not have a conversation with the finance minister? Invite him to the justice chamber. What's going on? Why have we not gotten paid? And perhaps the finance minister is going to tell you, you're not alone. Take a number and stand in line. This is how a government that is so much inept, that's how they operate. So in order for the justices to come to that conclusion, if this is a true story, to come to that conclusion, then they also must have inside knowledge that the finance minister on purpose refusing to pay them. They have the money, but they're refusing to pay them. And that's the only way you'll be able to issue that kinds of arrest warrant. Arrest warrant for not getting paid. This too is Liberia, my people. We're going to be inside. This is the liberal. I will not issue, but of course I'm not a justice person. I will not have issue of arrest warrant. So you, why even put yourself in so much of public ridicule? A Supreme Court and a court system in Liberia. Why will you put yourself in this kind of public ridicule? You haven't gotten paid. You think so? Why if the finance minister say, okay, you arrest him, he can call a press conference from the prison. But of course, once he's under arrest, I mean, all his constitutional rights have already been suspended. The president is out of town. Why you always like to embarrass people like this? The president is out of town, going on official visits from here to there. Oh, the people got mad. They say, oh, CDC, I see what you're doing to us. The Supreme Court and the Justice Center got mad. Oh, they've been traveling for 8 or 6 weeks. Where you getting that kind of money from to travel? Look at the plane ticket. Look at the airline ticket. Look at the amount of people he carrying. Honorable Eugene, where they're going. They're giving press statement, and we get paid. People Liberia, fun can never end in our country. But however, it's a sweet country. Oh. You know, the people go through it, but that country is sweet. Only people don't know how to manage it. You know how many times that country as an elephant meat have fed the people of Liberia, especially the greedy people of Liberia. They come in, settle a government, milk the elephant, take all the meat out of the elephant. Ah, Liberia, I love you. Then when they start finish with all the meat, then the elephants show the other side. While the other side continue to grow with extra meat. Then the other people can cut and cut and cut and cut and chop. Then when they make noise, the elephant say, okay, y'all go small now. Then he turn it right. We got the meat on the side, finish, it come back again. Then he turn, Liberia. Mama Liberia, you've been feeding also. What? Can you imagine the corruption in our country if there was nothing like that? You think that country, amen. The talent in our country, the young people, intellectual in our country. If you guys would just allow these people to come out like flower, to bloom up and start showing their true color, their sophistication. If you would just, and I want to go English, oh, okay. If you would just allow them to show themselves, you think you will suffer? The funny thing about these people, most of the people that are in government position, all the high places, they get paid. But go to their offices, the line, 1.5 miles long, begging. People are begging to see. And so as a result of that, some of them, when they don't even come to their office, they come, they sneak in. They're some kind of row or thief. They can't disguise themselves, then they sneak it into your own office because you're so greedy that you stop everything else. So the people come to you, they'll come beg you. Now you're sneaking into your own office. Your own office. Why are you supposed to be making law? Then when Yaka call about them, Yaka call about this, Yaka call about that. Yeah, we are. Let me bring in another, the analyst, Mr. Jonathan is here with us. I call him Jay as usual. Good evening, Jay. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Thank you so very kindly.
Okay, so let me go on here. I'll be coming to you here, Jay. I'm just going on while I was trying to do like a placeholder here while we're waiting. So these people, when they go to the offices, to their own office, they're scared because they're lying. They get out in the money. I used to have a friend say, my man, I went to the office, Capitol building. My man, I want you car inside, but I gotta find where to can't see you. I want you because when you come here, people will see you coming to me, then they will all follow. So I gotta find where to see. And some want to live in the office, they don't even come through their own office door. They find some kind of what kind of government, what kind of country is that? But because why? You're so greedy that you want everything for yourself. And you're not ready to share anything. You're not ready to share anything. And since you're not ready to share anything, people are coming to you now to beg. But if you are smart enough and share and make people to have jobs, not everybody, but they get, even those that get a job and get paid on time, then I think perhaps your idea of running away from your own office will not hold. Let me bring in Jonathan. Jonathan, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm just going through here, but I'm glad you're the first to come in. It's going to be a very interesting, because some stuff is happening here. It's going to be a very interesting conversation here tonight. I'm glad you can come in. What do you think? What do you make of what I'm saying here? The finance minister, there's an arrest warrant issued today for the finance minister to be arrested, according to the story, that the government, some of the folks have not gotten paid. The folks from it's gonna be dynamic here now. Since they just joined, so let's bring it in. Okay, so let's bring Sensei. Okay, so folks, Sensei, good evening. Welcome here. So the finance minister was issued an arrest warrant because, according to the justices, they have not gotten paid. And I was wondering, is it how you settle your pay difference? Well, they are not the only people. So why if the finance minister say, okay, you'll take number, because other civil servants have not gotten paid either? Why are they using this opportunity or using the power to arrest as a means of trying to settle their pay differences? Let's start with Jay. Jay, what do you make of all my renting I've been doing here within the last 10 minutes. Sorry we're late anyway, but go ahead.
Yeah, I firstly, I think it's unhealthy that the government as an institution responsible for the welfare of the Liberian people will go in such a direction. What it says to me, if the judiciary workers are concerned about their pay, is that companies, I mean, it is quite clear that it suggests more reason why companies violate the rights of Liberians. They don't pay their own time. They have to demonstrate and carry on some level of protestation before they can have their legitimate pay in. As we speak today, leges, uh, enumerators all across the nation are protesting for sitting fees and what is believed by them to be a legitimate fees that should be given to them. I may just speak volume of the problems that we have back home as a country. And
So let me go to Sissy here quickly. Sissy, do you think the government don't have the money to pay? And if so, why are they not negotiating with the people to say we don't have the money? And can they say that with straight face when you have the president of the Republic of Liberia just take a bunch of people and leave the country for 6 weeks? Who's going to feed them? Where they going to sleep? Who's going to pay for all of that? Then the justice they are looking at it and say, you can't tell us you don't have money when all of these things are going. So how do we resolve this yet? Does the justice minister, I mean, does the finance minister, must he go to jail for people to understand that this is a serious problem?
Well, the first problem is the president friend and pay for the trip. So you leave a pay alone. Like, your friend and pay for the trip. Or your friend ain't been knowing from Monaco days and his friend and in how to call it play Egypt and everywhere else they pay for the trip. So you leave my pay alone. They saw the man dancing Bugatti, they cash app to the man. Man collected a cash app, 1.5 million cash out, or they may carry for a Bugatti. And so but you know, this will be comical when we're not talking about our beloved country, right? These are people who are celebrating a scorecard that have them marked as failing in very critical aspects. How you fail one class 4 times and one time you pass it with a D average and you pass it and one celebrating? I say Samuel Tuel go to church, people praising and he's singing gospel song. Is that how a serious country behaves? Do the people really understand what those markings are? You failed the class 5 times. You're supposed to do it. You didn't even do it. You not see that same thing 5 different times over and over from the same teachers. And you pass with a D. And you're using state resources. Jefferson Koji is honoring, is throwing a program to honor the finance minister. Right? Forget that scorecard covers a wide-ranging an area of the government, of the entire government. So you use city corporation resources to celebrate what now? And then you wonder why the justices are saying, well, now we got money, let's pay us some money. My only disappointment with this action by the justices is not that they're taking the action, because they do have the right. If they see that that creates a problem for the judiciary, for the function of the judiciary, then yes. Just like the first branch of government, the legislature, from time to time has been calling those people in and holding them in contempt when their money have not come. The only reason why I'm disappointed is who holds them in contempt, or who calls them to court for the commoners, for the people that Jay is talking about. Those employees or contractors that haven't been paid. Who calls these people and hold them in contempt on their behalf? Who holds them in contempt on behalf of the JFK nurses and employees that have not been paid for a long time? Who does that for them? So for me, I think in Liberia, it just becomes, everybody's protecting themselves. The legislature will call these people and hold them in contempt, just like the third branch of government. The judiciary has now, issue an arrest warrant. I just want to see who's going to issue the arrest warrant so that they make sure that those contractors are paid. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, well, I mean, it's for me, it's just such a ridiculous stuff at all, especially what is happening in the country. And then, as you correctly stated, people are dancing. And I think the honoring program was they put justices put a cold water on their program, because they say, okay, after your program, the security waiting for you going to South Beach. But I don't think he would step foot in jailhouse anyway. But another thing that I want to talk about here is, where do we stand? Both of you, and I beg that we don't point finger at each other here tonight. Let us try to be above that. Let us discuss these issues as though we are foreign to the conversation. You're just coming in, and therefore you will try to take on a role of neutral person, so to speak, even though we know you both are not neutral. But let's do our best. I will try to police this conversation here as hard as possible.
Neutral. Me, I always neutral. Jonathan,
yeah, well, I will. Like I said, I'm going to police this conversation here because here is what I know. Here is what I know. When both of you, and on a very serious note, what I noticed so far from both of you, highly educated. That I know, and you guys are very versed in these kinds of conversations. Even if you're not taking the same side, disagreeing, but if it is done in a manner of clear understanding that we are here to disagree because we know we don't agree on issue. And as a result of that kinds of understanding, Jonathan will pick up point that you will make, which is critical to against his side. But he will give you some points to say, yes, you did that. That's correct. But here's why. That's correct. But here's what we're going to do. On the other hand, say also will give Jonathan a point. So that's the kinds of trend that I want us to take here tonight. If you criticize, which is a good thing to do. Jesus. I was trying to enjoy myself now. Yeah. Okay, let me bring it in anyway. I was still going to enjoy myself. My son gave me. Oh, I said, I ain't even bringing it in. You can't bring that in.
Why are you begging people not to?
Let me end my statement. My statement. Yeah, because you're getting ready to run my stomach now. So I just went that straight. Let me end my stomach.
I told you people, this guy, he has not completed his orientation.
Yeah. So we're getting there. We're getting there. So anyway, Cece and Jay, when we have these four-way conversation, when Alfonso is on the other end, it turns to be something that I enjoy. I know most of our audience enjoy that as well. I'm not sure they do, but I mean, mostly on this one, I really, truly enjoy it. So let's go into the elephant in the room. Today, and before we do that, don't hesitate to hold me quickly if I can. I hope the Central Right would have shown up here tonight because this is the time for me to blow my own horn to say I told you so. Okay, so today we heard on the sister network, on Spoon, they have Musability. And when I listened to Musability, I went back. Some 2 years ago, I did an hour show on Musability and the FIFA issue. where I did some extensive research, and I was able to point out some company newspaper in South Africa and other newspaper, even in Europe, that were very critical of FIFA position against Musa ability. And I went back today. But let's go back on the Spoon Network, where Musa ability seem to suggest that when it comes to critical issue in a room where Honorable Kumi, he's there. In other words, if I need to tell him what I think he needs to know, he'll make the decision, but I'll be truthful. And I will not be afraid. And one of the interesting things he said was that they are hoping to start a conversation. And this conversation will have two legs. The first one, conversation with Unity Party, by the way. The first one was to go in and negotiate with them to say, we want Ambassador Bakai to send somebody from Unity Party. Let's work together. Let Ambassador Bakai send somebody that will run on a Cummings ticket as vice presidential candidate. Or we let Ambassador Bakai becomes the lead and Cummings go honor. Interestingly, the young lady was there, and then when the young lady time came, and I'm just wrapping all of this, and then each of you can take your point on this. When Kakura came in, then it pricked my interest to know. And then after she made her statement, then I realized, oh, this is why when ANC get involved in the political party, this is how they break up people's marriages. And the statement she made was, she asked Musa ability, is there any way that the Unity Party, they can tell the old man to step aside and bring up some qualifier or that's not your business. That's the people's house. Whoever the people put out. Now she's telling them if they can have that kinds of stuff. That's what Musa ability used the word. There is no body in there that will be able to tell the old man the truth. But that's none of our business. So let's go back. Let me come back to all of you, and we'll start with Sissy. We got three other people here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but how you be for me? If you need put not gonna be bombshell on you, go to Jonathan. You brought to me.
Yeah, let me.
So say two Gonglo people. I go to one of you. Then we get
let me come to you, Sissy, and I want you to set the tone. I want you to set the tone on a very serious note. I want you to set the tone with a clear understanding. The fact that you guys on the opposite end, but yet still have the ability to convert respectfully. So let me start with you, and please set the tone for us here. What do you make of that conversation?
So first thing, as an opposition, political party and politician follower, I've always been preaching that there has to be a oneness of the opposition bloc, and so anything that is being done legally to bring back together the LPP, the LP, and by extension to bring back Omer Joseph Boakai and Alexander Benedict Cummings to the table to have a discussion can never be a bad thing in the interest of Liberia. And so I think I welcome whatever peace they are seeking to put back together the Liberty Party because before my guy declared, we were all here supporting the CPP that had a lot of wins, and so I'm not going to pretend like I didn't see the power of Alexander Cummings and Joseph Nyuma Boakai and the rest of the people that were in the CPP. But that was before the arrival of the guy, the man who has the vision, the mission, and the wherewithal and the ability to effect the change we all talk about. and I'm talking Councillor Tewan Gonglo. That was before he arrived, because this is the one guy who can see from mission to implementation without anything getting lost within translation. This is not going to be like the pro agenda for prosperity that is almost like a Bible voice. Any one pastor can read it depending on how hungry he or she is and interpret it in 5,000 different ways. Having said that, though, I think Musa Beledi is positioning himself well, and I think that's a good thing. I think this thing will benefit the ANC. The coming back together of the Liberty Party will benefit the ANC if the ANC knows they try really hard to start to plan ahead on how their messaging will be and what the strategies will be. I come here too often. I give my brother a hard time, the ANC, and I talk. We talk behind the scenes. But I think the ANC, and again, I'm about to get burned because I know I'm going to have a lot of inbox stuff from ANC people. The ANC doesn't do well with communications, with defending. I mean, I'm not saying the ugly cussing defending. I'm talking the kind of thing that Jonathan knows how to do. So, for example, I'm going to lay something out here today. For the last 1 month plus, I've been coming back hard. Every time we talk, I come back about Louis Brown, about Louis Brown, about Louis Brown, about Louis Brown. And you would think that the ANC will go and say, no, let's check something. Let's talk to Louis Brown. Let's see how can we defend Louis Brown. I had to go do my own research, and I'm gonna put it out here because as a scholar, when you find something, even if it doesn't prove your point, you have to come out and let people know. I found out that Louis Brown, at one point, was placed on a house arrest by Charles Taylor because he challenged Taylor. He asked him, why are you always right? Why are other people always wrong? Why do you think we always have to do things this way? And so for me, anybody who could stand up to Charles Taylor and challenge him on ideology, on the way to lead our country, I think that person deserves some applause. So I will clap today for Daniel Che, not Louis Brown, but Daniel Che, because I saw that about him. I read that about him in my own research. But the ANC has not been pushing that. There hasn't been coming out. Everybody has been allowed to burn Daniel Che, and they just sat back and watch it. And they just allow people to go at him without anybody defending him, at least nothing that I have seen, right? And so I'm saying this to say that the ANC will benefit from this coming back together of the Liberty Party, but they have to be able to manage this really well. Otherwise, it'll fall in their faces again.
Okay, before I come to Jonathan, let me say this to my son, Archie Zito. You just welcome Mr. So, and you welcome me. I go in here, the 25 hour, I'm going to say, yeah, I've withdrawn it. I've withdrawn it, my son. How you welcome Mr. So and not me? Thank you. I'm not saying my money again. I withdrawing my money because you welcome me, you welcome Mr. So.
How sure there's money even in there?
What make you think? I say that okay, well, I withdraw, you withdraw. Well, no. But anyway,
this is sad. You
yeah,
know,
that's okay.
He's
that's
not even
okay.
paying attention. You ask Sese providing narrative. Instead, you are looking at ordinary Liberians who also listening and expressing his view.
Welcome me. There was no excuse. But anyway, on a very serious note, Jay, let me come to you now. Let me come to you, Jonathan. Doc, good evening. Welcome. We appreciate your presence. I'm sorry that we're coming on late here because of some technical issue. But I'll come to you, Doc. Let me come to Jonathan. And Jonathan, I'm not too sure whether you were able to listen today. Now, the question that I have is this. When Musa Ability was making that pronouncement this evening, he wasn't saying it as somebody who's being directed by the standard bearer. He was just putting out information as the way forward. And he quite friendly to everybody. None of the political party opposition will outrightly win the election without the support of the other political party. And that's why all of us been saying it. But a question to you, Jonathan, you're one of the insider hierarchy. Is there kinds of conversation happening with the involvement of the like of Louis Brown and Dr. Gay Dewey and the rest of the people and all of you, is this conversation happening now? And the reason I'm asking it because Madam Kakula also stated that she also in the room, but she didn't push back on that statement. She didn't distance herself from that statement. In fact, when Stanton tried to push them, she came to the defense of our mobility, as to say, don't say that you're trying to create confusion among us, so to speak. So the question that I'm asking you: are you aware of these kinds of chatter in your chat room or in the overall politics of this? Yeah, thank you, madam, thank you. Of these kinds of conversation, Jay.
I don't. When you say challenge, I don't know whether you're speaking to the question.
No, you didn't get a question. I said, is these kinds of conversations happening among you, the hierarchy, the insider? When I said she didn't push back, in other words, it seemed to be that she's in agreement with whatever Musa Ability was saying this afternoon. So I was just wondering, as an insider, what can you tell us here? Is this something that is happening now on a broader scale?
As a matter of fact, let me say I will come to the end, but I mean the way this first situation. One, all of our narratives, all of the ANC narratives, from the beginning of the CPP to the period that we had the 3 counts, consensus, VPS, and primary, we have consistently, deliberately, unambiguously said to Liberians that to form an opposition party ticket, you have to have 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, that Mr. Cummings wants to become the president, and that's why he's been making his case. Scenario 2, in an instant that it doesn't favor him based on the different indicators, on a fair play, he's prepared to submit to anyone, including Ambassador Bwaka, who has said that he wants to be the standard bearer of the CPB, to submit. When Mr. Ability, Chairman Ability, was asked today, he established clearly that the opposition needs to build confidence among itself based on the past. And the confidence should be built on different sets of issues: governance, on the legislative front, on the electoral front, on CESAR, on too many policy issues. That will give an impetus or reason that the conversation will go further. When he was asked about collaboration, then he said he will sit on no conversation where we have only one scenario, the scenario of entitlement. But he will sit on a conversation where we have 2 scenarios. And he will agree to such conversation if his first scenario will be to make Mr. Cummings standard bearer and Ambassador Bwaka to endorse him. The second scenario, which he will not allow any ANC or CPP member to resist, is to not go in the room that we don't have a fallback position, that Unity Party will have to put forth Ambassador Bwaka. So he was suggesting that we should be labor to accepting that portion. So with these 2 scenarios, Madam Yekula now decided to come out to ask if in the instant case, and probably maybe you didn't get that correctly, that Ambassador Bwaka accept, which was hypothetical, to endorse Mr. Cummings, will the Unity Party make a suggestion to Mr. Cummings about a vice standard bearer, since Ambassador Bwaka has served as vice president twice is not likely to serve as vice president. That was the conversation. Then Belete went on further to say, this is the biggest thought that United Party towers have been having with Belete outside the box, but are not brave to confront Ambassador Bouaka. That in the unlikely event that would decide to when you Bouaka, we either want our first choice. Any negotiation are the first priority. But in the event that indicators prove that it's not possible, can you make a suggestion of another strong United Party, upright, level-headed person to be a running mate? And Benedict said clearly that they say these things outside, in small meeting, outside formal meeting, but they are unable to sit with Ambassador Bouaka and tell him. Then they brought Benedict to the question now by Chairman Sanvi, whether he's too brave.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Whether he is too brave to tell Mr. Cummings whether he can play second role.
We're gonna go on here. Let me go on to Mr. So. Doc, I'm gonna be coming to you next, but let me go on to Mr. So. Mr. So,
can you go to Dr. Toto in the meantime? What I'm doing?
Okay, that's fine. I don't know what happened with your video anyway. Are you guys there?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. So, Mr. So, can you hear me? No. Okay. All right. Okay, let me come then to the doc. I'm not too sure whether you were able to listen to Spoon this afternoon, but it was a very interesting conversation, to be honest with you. Musa Belete also stated that coming to these two positions that he had, the key factor of the second one that I have a huge interest in, but he's saying now, the key factor of that is based on data. He's saying that when they read it, Dr. Toto, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just saw you pop up on the other side. So he's saying now that in order for them to have that kinds of conversation, the data should prove or should support whoever is going to be at the top. For example, he says, we'll go back into what I did yesterday, go back to the record of past election, and we'll find your position, what percentage you have during the past election, general election, and we'll hold our position. And we'll go to the next person and say, what was your position? We hold our position. Then we will do a survey, a data survey, to see whether any of these two politician position going to be improved, and by what percentage will that position be improved. And once that is established, then that person will be told what their position is, and then the conversation going to start. And that's what I was going to ask Mr. So, because he's been on his platform here for a very long time when this whole thing started, how these type, they didn't do what they said they're going to do now. They were not doing that. And his argument then was, it's not going to hold because you guys have not been able to establish who is supposed to be at what position based on information and data. And the data are not supporting the way you guys are going. That's been his argument. But that the question to you then is, you think now that with that kinds of information now, you think that they're on the right path now, and that if that becomes the reality with that whole?
Oh yeah, Libra first, or the take it tonight for the show. You know, I took it earlier. I saw you pray. I said, this is the only labor I know that can pray in the. I can do a public prayer.
Fake prayer.
I know most of the liberal, when it comes to prayer, in public, they all let up pick the faith. But let me get back to the question. You know, for the formation of the CPP, right? When the CPP started, when everybody was in good terms, when everything was milk and honey in the CPP, and when the issue of standard bearer were approaching, and this was the message the unity parties started pushing first, you know, or when the ANC were coming on with
the primary 6M, to elect the standard bearer, and the type of system that they wanted to bring in, the VBS system they wanted to bring in, a primary system. It was not going well in the year of Unity Party until the Unity Party were when we were on previous data from on previous election. They said that we have the record. The previous election, Ambassador Boyka had 28% of the entire voting system in Liberia, and that was their point. And ANC, they have the data to rather support them for Alexander Comey to be the standard bearer. So they were looking at data. So now, if most ability is coming up now to talk about, let's go back to the previous data and see where we stand, then we open a room for discussion, and that's a good point. Then maybe I think most ability are trying to yield down to the Unity Party demand, because that's why Unity Party are advocating first when the CPP were all when they were streaming milk and honey. And if I ought to go back to that, I think it will be a big blow to ANC. And whether ANC going to accept that or move forward to, that will be another issue of discussion also too. But then look at the whole formation of the CPP, Labour. I want to do that is really support that CPP coming together. I wrote against what if you follow my Facebook page and thing there, I wrote that a comment on it because I knew that today will come to find ourselves in a complete disarray. First of all, Ambassador Boyka served as vice president for 12 years. You think he going to come in or collaboration for him to be another vice president again? You think that's going to happen? At all. It's not going to happen. And then Alexander Comey also too, he's energetic. He has established himself. Say he got engaged in Liberian politics. When Alexander Comey first came to Liberian politics, people mock at him. People say you're an American citizen, you're not qualified. But yeah, he beat all the challenges. And he has made himself relevant in the eyes of the Liberian politics now. So you think Alexander Comey going to sit right now and say, I want to be the vice president too? So the whole thing was just a fiasco for me. But now if I all they say they're coming back together, that's a good sign. But I think we're going to go back to the same issue again. What are they? Can that just be standard bearer? And they go to the data process that most of them talking about, it will favor Unity Party and it will be a big blow to ANC.
Mr. So, are you ready to take the question? Can you hear me, Mr. So? Mr. So, can you hear me? Okay, he can't hear. So let me go to.
I'm monitoring something. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me just get myself off the screen here. Something right here. Let me just while you guys going, I'll keep.
Thank you. Okay, let me go to Jonathan. Jonathan, I will ask this way then. I've been on a show here, even though I am a supporter I am an admirer of Ambassador Bakai, but I've always argued that this CPP issue and their engagement and their even collaboration process and things like that. I thought I've always thought. Mr. So, are you ready? Okay, not yet.
But carry on.
Okay. So, Jonathan, I'm always on here arguing that Comey trusted the fact that he'd been away from Liberia politics for so long. He decided to immerse himself into Liberian politics, first trusting and then asking later. Whereas as I've always stated, and I'm not bashful of that, even though, like I said, I am a admirer of Ambassador Boyka, but I said Comey should not have trusted them. And because he trusted them, first and then asking questions, they decided to truly introduce him to the Liberian politics in a dirty way. One of the reasons I made that comment was they wanted Comey to be present while they were going to be crowning Ambassador Boyka. Where in heaven that you will say, even though both of you are seeking the same position, but you come while we try to crown this person for this position. And I thought that was very, very bad. And from that point on, things started going downhill. But now that Comey has had his eyes open through porous society initiation process, Liberian politics, that is, that he has had his eyes open, clearly knows now how Liberian politics work. Is he going to go into this, if it becomes true, is he going to go into this with some sort of an apprehension, or he's going to go in once again trusting?
Thank you again, Mr. So. Mr. Cummings will do anything and everything for the good of the general public of Liberia to see it being rescued. And I'd like to say that for the fact that you recognize that Mr. Cummings trusted the system and he was catapulted wrongly, he was lied on, or he was not given a fair chance, demonstrate clearly to you why we are where we are after 175 years. How be it, the only thing we have resisted, and we will keep resisting at any point in time, is to not give Liberians the two scenarios to play in the opposition community. The scenario of entitlement, that will have only one scenario, and that scenario is an entitlement, will not give us the opportunity to go into any further conversation. But any conversation that will open the environment for the two scenarios, that either one person can be standard bearer and the other person support, and the other person can be vice standard bearer, it makes it hefty, it builds confidence. And to Mr. Toto, it was not the ANC that was pushing primary. It was the CPP that agreed in principle without bringing any data process as of the 2017 elections. We agreed before the 2020 election that we will conduct 3 primary things. 1, consensus. 2, VPS. 3, primary. So it was all 4 of us that agreed. We were only seeing how it will be executed. And our colleagues brought in the entitlement by supporting it with the data of 2017. What Berete was saying lastly was that if we should come to a conversation, we should look at different indicators as to whether that 20-some% United Party got before it is still in existence realistically, it has grown or have fallen. Whether Mr. Cummings 7% are going to 3%, 1%, or no percent, or it has gone up. It will be on the basis of these things that we can have a compromise in the room, which is human and hefty. And with the 2 scenarios, I will support it 1 million times anytime, because we believe absolutely we have the advantage, we have the grand game, we have the ability that even Unity Party themselves will feel brave enough to support us when you have the 2 scenarios.
So we'll come back to you, Doc.
I don't want to ask him one question. I don't want to
No, Doc. We'll come back to you. Just hold on your peace.
Ask a question.
No. We're not going to go through that.
Why you want to sanction people?
I already set up the ground rule. We will come back to you, Doc. Just write your question, and we'll come back to you, Mr. So. I'm running the show.
I know.
I'm running the show. You know how I am with power business. So,
all right.
Yeah. I'm power drunk. You know that one there. So, but no, let me come to you, Mr. So, on a very serious note. These type of conversations that are happening now, I hate to say, but you know me, I quit to eat crow if I have to. And I think I'll give you a prop here tonight. Because this is something, even though many of the time I didn't agree, and I still don't agree with you on many things, but you were persistent and you were consistent on denouncing the fraud and bringing out the fraud within formation. And I believe that perhaps they have recognized that. But let me ask you this. Jonathan made some point here to say, well, there might have to be some indication of how, who, and what have you. You think this time around, if they are coming back together, what are some of the things for you, from your perspective, what are some of the things you're going to have to watch out for you to believe that, yes, this thing will hold this time around? And if at all it's going to hold, you knowing politicians as they are, and you know them very well because you've been dealing with them for many times.
So here, what I would say in the first one, Dr. Toto Jonathan Sisse, I believe, is in the backstage, and to our viewers, listeners, followers, good evening, good morning, depending where you are. It is sad, and because you were in denial when this whole thing started, and your tone was more or less moving in a political correctness, but that's not what my arguments were pushing at the time. I was looking at the reality and the histories of the Liberian politician. What you see recapping right now is almost like, what?
I'm waiting for you, Mr. Soul.
Yeah, but I'm hearing a noise. Why are you trying to contaminate my voice?
What kind of, Mr. Soul?
Yeah, there was a loud noise.
There's a noise coming.
Are you still hearing it?
It's okay now.
It's much better.
It's not coming from me though.
Where coming from? You in control. Anything goes wrong here, you will be held responsible. So back to the point.
Okay.
What you see happening here is
okay, I got it. Go ahead. It's under control.
They got real plan to pay back here tonight. Look, on a serious note, what you see happening here, it reminds me of the All Liberian Conference. All right, and ANC right now is in a better position, we can say, for now. Whatever you saw unfolding today, the actions of Hassan Belete, there's a saying that says in politics, ventures without success. Without venture, if you can't take a venture, you can't get a success because you won't even know the outcome. So what ANC is doing right now is throwing something out there and test the strength. Remember, ANC came up with an elaborate campaign team. How many of us are talking about what his name said? Daniel Che now. And I told you the inclusion of Louis Brown, Dr. Gajue McIntyre, that is a huge factor within the Cummings campaign, whether you like it or not. Because these guys, they are very strategic in their calculation. What Musa Belete is doing, what you're seeing happening now, is not in isolation without the Cummings or the insider of Cummings knowing about it. How can Mariah argue about it? Belete is in full support of the presidency of Cummings. There's a handicap aspect here of the Unity Party. Unity Party does not have the resources to conduct and execute a winnable campaign. I'm not saying just a campaign, I want to be president. I mean a winnable campaign. To conduct a presidential campaign, it comes with a huge cost. And this is where Cummings, the ANC, top there, and this is where the problem is. So Belletana is making the point, okay, you want to be, but you don't have the resources. You don't have the money. I think there's some sort of issue going on with the system here this evening. I'm not sure what is happening. Having trouble.
You're audible from our end.
Is that from your end? I'm seeing something not going. Something unusual happening. Are you noticing that, Mr.
We're hearing you. Nothing happening from my end, from your end.
Something?
We hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't know why it's something going. Yeah. So what they are doing, they are testing the both groups. One thing they have realized, one person cannot take it away. But ANC in this case is trying to be very forceful to say, hey, we have the momentum. The momentum is on our side. And the only way, so what they are taking to the table now, look, we are much stronger. We are much positioned. We have the resources. If you come, you join us, we are willing to tap into our resources for us to conduct and wage an effective campaign. So what you see Musa doing there in a very conciliatory tone, that they're not a Musa ability. You know Musa ability when you ever come. But what he doing now, he playing the softball. And so they want to be very careful. At the same time, they are going there with two faces. If the negotiation fails, they will come out to say, hey, we make like we extended an olive branch. We try to provide a conversation where thereby we can come. So the board now, they kind of like try to push Unity Party against the wall. So if they refuse, you heard him saying that he had a conversation with the party chairman, even though it's not official. But I guess from all what I'm saying, I guess listening to him today, there was a much deeper one that was held. So, but you're going to see this sort of conversation be playing out in the higher up, because they have some of their surrogate as well that they are unable from the Unity Party side, most like a little also from the ANC side, they are unable to contain them. So they're not just going to dash everything. So they're just kind of like testing the water here to see the reactions of electors and the Liberian people to see who is who. But ANC now feels that she's much more equipped and they must be given the power board. That power board is the presidency. But how can they get to convince the Unity Party people, the Joseph Boyka folks, the surrogate of the Joseph Boyka with our event backlash or backfire? I think that's why they are trying to play around right now.
So that let me come to you. But this whole scenario here, to me, it looked like when I was growing up in Town, I could play drum. Seriously, I could play drum in the evening time when the moon's shining. Then the girls, when they're ready to dance, they would call me, but I didn't have a drum. And there was a guy, same age like me, has a drum, but he couldn't play. And he couldn't even dance, but he has a drum. So the question would be saying to the girls, "Y'all want my drum?" Then somebody get one of the girls, because when you play drum, the girls come and hold your hand, and for a woman to touch your hand, you know what it is back home, for them to hold your hand and touch it, that's a big deal. So he said, "Hey, y'all want my drum? Somebody got to hold my hand." But you're not playing the drum. How do people hold you? He said, "Well, then I take my drum back." Well, the girls that want to dance, then somebody will agree. So let me go to you, Doc, with this scenario that I just give you. ANC got the money. They don't have the vote. Ambassador Baka got the vote. He doesn't have the money. Where do we go? How do we settle this Samson told dancing issue here, Doc?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's the same question I wanted to pose to Janitor when you're talking about the data issue. If you look at right now and look at everything that unfolding, it is no doubt that the Zeta Committee has established itself in the eyes of the population. Come to politics Liberia. Before that, I said he was nowhere. But now if you look at, he had a lot of force behind him, a lot of people behind him. But is he really making impact on the life of the people in Liberia, the 14 people? Most of the pool that have taken place in Liberia recently, you see that the Zeta Committee is lacking behind. There was another pool that was conducted by Jane Goody some time ago on Spoon Network. He went on the street of Monrovia. You're asking
Look, Dr. Toto.
Mr. So, I'm running the show. Mr. So, I am in charge. Doc, please. I know, Mr. So, this is your program. This is your network. You own everything. But right now, the Libra is running the show. Doctor, please. Go ahead and finish your statement.
That's a pool. Most of the pool are being conducted. You see, Alexander Kobe is lacking. So he did to create a way to make himself relevant to the people in Liberia. And then also you see ANC and Unity Party for you see that bad blood that is running between both camps. You see how they attack each other, how they launch each other. When one ANC person come after you, everybody come in, that's why the Unity Party. So you can see that bad blood that is running between the both camps. And then coming together, I mean, it will happen, but I don't really see the possibility. But if you look at the data, we still want to look at the data collection, whether that quantitative data they had or quantitative data that been established already. But if we go through that data collection, it will not benefit ANC at all.
Okay. So let me come to you.
So, look,
Mr.
right,
Mr. So, the liberal is in control. You're not going to bamboozle me here tonight to accept your conservative ideas. I'm getting ready to pack you. You know me. I'm getting ready to pack you in the background. I'm getting ready to pack you in the garage. That's what I do. That's what I did to my vice president. I'm getting ready to pack you. You're conservative people. Let me go to Sissy. But Mr. So, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, I want to make a point to what Dr. Toto was saying. Look, this when I hear people,
but Mr. So, can you hold on, Mr. So? Mr. So, hold on 1 minute, please. The central right just came in. Now you want to assert yourself onto this program here now because you got somebody to support you now. What's happening? You were okay with me. Everything was fine. Now the central right show up. You're ready now to say you're ready to assert yourself. Go ahead, make your point. But I just want you and the central right to know that I'm running the show.
Please. This is how you people can
go ahead. We're listening to you.
Yeah. I want to say something with this pool because every time I hear people, when I go low, people call like, hey, we call here today, who's going to be the president? 10% win. 10% call. They want to. It's complete nonsense. They should start playing with a sovereign country. God forbid. And I'm so disappointed with some of our colleagues and even media institutions and journalists. You know what poo is? How many of these people will tell you that they have even gone outside of Monrovia and talked to people on the burning issues? That's how pool is being conducted. When they are conducting pool, they go to strategic area. You go to Mosorado, you go to Nima, you go to Lofa, you go within the Grand Bass of Bond County, where the vote going to come from, and you be able to talk to the voters what they are considering. Maybe out of 10 will come, you get 10 burning issues out of Bond County, you get 10 burning issues out of Lofa County, Mosorado County, and see what is what, and you condense them. Then you can make an educated guess. This coming election, this is what the people are going to be focusing on. Now somebody say down here, we say down here, plug phone line in the play. Okay, today Elizana Kume, Joseph Boyka, Nyobi Kanga, Lauren, call who going to be then 10%. Look, we in the media, we know how this thing work. It's a joke that you start playing with our country.
Hold on, you push back. Doc, you push back.
It's not Dr. Toto, I'm not really talking to you, but to be honest with you, this sort of overnight without no specific as to what the people
we can disagree with it, but that's the system.
It doesn't make no sense.
We can disagree with it, but that's what is out there right now. We have nothing else. If we want people to do better, they will. But let me go to Sissy now. Sissy,
yeah, but we need to educate our people as well. We need to tell our people what is right. Not because it's out there, we should run with it as some sort of facts. I know the person that used to they used to do this for year. I remember when I had an interview. They went to Bomi County, different places, and they gather information. What these people are gathering? One person just gather and say, "Is that an institution? How is that being done? How many people they have talked to?"
All right, let me go to Sissy. Let me go to Sissy. I mean, that's his point of reference, and he's entitled to that. But let me go to Sissy. Sissy, let me come to you. With this kabuki dancing that is seem to be happening here. You as admirer of Councillor Gonglo, are you concerned that if these people truly start dancing, that your men will be left in cold? Are you concerned?
No, I'm actually happy that they are dancing because as they dance and they get in a rhythm and you get in that flow where you get to a certain stage and you lose yourself and your mind, you can share all those biases now. You're not worried about who looking at you dancing. At that point, you're just flowing with nature. At that point, they will realize that Councillor Gonglo is the man to go to. So they will all dance their way to Councillor Gonglo. Because by that point, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Mr. George, you have to come back. Go and come back. There's something wrong with your system.
Yeah, but they think they're supposed to get that they get to Louis Brown. So go get a computer back on Louis Brown.
Mr. Judge, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, sis, and finish your statement.
Because the ANC made it a flying group, like how George to say, made it a flying group. But anyways, as I was saying, that when the dust settles, I think Councillor Gonglo benefits a lot more from a coalesced, a unified opposition than anybody else, because we're going to go to round 2 with George Weah, and we're going to need all these people to come along. If they need a candidate,
let me push back. Are you telling us you're on a very hold on? I mean, this is a conversation we're having here.
Okay.
Are you saying that ANC and Unity Party, if they come together in real life and start working together, that the Liberian people would turn their back against these two giants and then pick up Councillor Gonglo to have to go round 2 with Ambassador Weah? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, then the Israelites at one point had a situation with a giant, and they had to go with a little kid called David to lay him out.
But I remember David has a stone. David has a slingshot. David has a slingshot. He has a stone.
We have the slingshot. Except we're not going to be throwing rocks, so we're not seditionists, and we didn't come from the CDC. We're going to be throwing intellectual stuff at the people. We're going to be bringing solutions. Our sling is going to be loaded with solutions, with people-driven problem and people-driven solutions. We are not going to tell the people, here are the problems you got. Like the council has been going around making these tours. He's trying to find out from the people what's important to them, and then together come with a solution. So our slingshot is going to be loaded. We're not going to be throwing rocks. We don't do
Let
that.
me go to Mr. Josh.
We leave that to the professors. But having said that though,
yeah,
the reason I think that Councillor Gonglo benefits is because, let's be very frank, you really think Joseph Boakai was saying I want to be president when all the Kabuki, the controller and the handlers are telling him you got to be president? You think that will happen? So for me, I need them to stop cussing each other, so that when we go to round 2, they can be able to all come and vote for us. That's the reason.
But say you're missing the point, though. I don't. And I'll go to Mr. Judge. But let me.
What's the point? You want me to say I don't believe that these people will come together? So
okay. That's why we accept it. But the point that I want to make is that the general term stated, most abilities stated that as well, that they have 2 scenarios. You're only picking on one. The second one, which is ANC, will then be on board to allow Joseph Boakai to go first and ANC go second. But let me go to.
Let me just learn 2 seconds. You really think Alexander Benedict Cummings, having spent all of this time since 2017 in Liberia, having spent this much money going to places and talking to people and putting political capital and financial capital on the line, hiring a very good team of people, smart people, would then just decide that he would not go to the ballot, he would just capitulate.
If what Jonathan stated, if it is correct to say Liberia first, then I will say yes. But let me go to Mr. George. Let me go to Mr. George, guys. Let me go to Mr. George. Mr. George, thank you. Welcome. The question here, Mr. George, that I have for you is, if I know you probably heard Musa Ability conversation this evening, if all of that is true and everything happening,
who is hijacking the show?
Because he did not complete his orientation.
Wait a minute, Mr. George, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I was asking you a question, and in the process of me asking my question, you undermining me by talking to your buddy up there. Is that what you just did?
Somebody trying to hack the ANC in Atlanta. They thought
I'm getting ready. No, I'm getting ready to put both of you and your colleagues. I'm running a show. I can put you in the garage right now. Okay, so
okay. He's not even observing what is happening to the program. He's not even watching. So all he is.
I'm watching the program. The program is going well.
Okay.
What? Okay. What is it that is wrong with the program that you guys think? Everybody can hear. We all can hear. Mr. Soul, maybe your issue is where you're set.
Then Mr. George, go ahead. Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're different environment or not.
Okay. All right. So let's go to Mr. George.
Fighting here today.
Yeah. No. But I'm not even going to Jonathan anyway. I'll go somewhere else. I'll come to myself. But no, on a very serious note, Mr. George,
Yeah.
you most likely heard Musa Ability today on Spoon Talk. His suggestion is something that you also have been not pretty much pushing that line, but you also recognize that not one political party or any one political leader will be successful against.
Something's wrong. I don't know what's going on.
You can't hear me either.
No, I can hear you now.
That Jonathan hacking you.
Wow.
Jonathan.
Why is it that you're too conservative on this network having issue tonight when the liberal is shining?
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what do you make of that? You've been on here as well to say that no one political leader or political party will go against Dr. Weir and Wayne. You need collaboration. You need everybody to come together. Are you on board with the idea that has been kicked around by Musa Ability and the likes to say that the ANC and Unity Party need to somehow collaborate and cooperate to be successful? What do you say?
Look, it is true. Yeah, I have said it over and over. If people think that George Weir is so bad for Liberia, but they cannot come together to remove him, and everybody go their way, and at the end of the day, George Weir went and said, we should choose the political leader out of Monrovia, out of Liberia, because they will become the most dangerous people to the country.
Are you with us?
Jonathan, stop hacking the big network.
Yeah. What? They think you're on here
Somebody,
tonight.
I don't know. We don't know. Maybe that sister there from Minnesota trying to hack this show yesterday. Maybe that sister that told them didn't want. Didn't want. So
But what happened to sister now too?
Yeah, that's it. Then that told them.
Wow.
Plenty happy to
Wow,
know.
this program tonight not easy.
No, my own
They were part of so LPR broom analyst tonight. It will fly everywhere.
But very good.
As I was saying,
Yeah.
it is important. I have stated this thing over and over because the record has proven there's no political party, one political party can win upright election like 50+1. No way. They have to coalesce. They got to come together. And I say, if we think that George Weir is so bad, and these people will not come together, and George Weir are happy to win that election, then none of us should say anything in Liberia. Because then it was all about their own ego, interest, not the Liberian people, as they allege. So, hey, we talk gun in Liberia, we should want.
Let me tell you when you talk gun in Liberia, we talk gun in Liberia.
Yes, shoot one another, kill friends, family. Today, those same people that are walking side by side. What do I mean by that? If to remove George Weir, if the political parties, whether Dr. Buckeye, Mr. Cummings, Liberty, Tegro Gonglo, if they will come together to move Dr. Weir, perfect. Because there's no one way, there's no way around it. People will have to coalesce. But some of the people in this political party, they are so dangerous. They are self-centered. From our own party, the ANC, the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the Gonglo Party, all you got some very selfish people thinking that it is not a way, there's no way. That so many people must not sit down again and talk forever. And if they have that kind of mentality, then of course, They are not advocating for the Liberian people.
Okay. Let me go to the doctor. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
But that's personally I wanted to respond to.
Yeah. We're coming to you. We'll come to you, Jay. So immediately after the doc, we'll come to you. So, Doc, you think if everything is all put together, you think ANC and Unity Party can they govern effectively as a team?
Look, Libra, I don't want to waste my time that question. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
But what we are seeing, if it happens, we'll clap our hands for it. But as I said earlier, anyway, you think Ambassador Boyka stay for 12 years to be vice president, and will be another vice president again? You think Alexander Kwame, all the resources that he has put to where he is right now, he has making himself more relevant in the eyes of the people that, and the people that he has around him, people like Gabriel, McIntosh, Daniel Chia, Louis Brown, all the people. You think Kwame want to go as vice president? It's not going to happen, man. Yeah, that is that good separate way.
So the vice president in Liberia, so Liberia is just
Okay, Mr. George, the doctor have the floor. Mr. George, the doctor is speaking.
Let the project go their separate way. We'll go to second round. We'll take it from there.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Jennington. Guys, let's do one at a time, please. Let me go to Jennington. Jennington. So it seemed to me that from what the good doctor is saying is that perhaps you guys are fooling us and hoping for you guys to gain our vote and knowing fully well this thing is not going to work. What say you, sir?
Look, except we are not following politics very carefully. And for me, I'm an ardent follower of Liberian politics. History can record that Ambassador Louis Brown said that Madame Salif desecrated the presidency by making certain statements. And Ambassador Louis Brown endorsed Madame Salif. Madame Salif appointed an information minister, appointed an ambassador to the United Nations. Senator Milton Tiaje said that if Madame Salif win election, hair should grow in a palm.
He said that one.
2011, when they asked him on 2FM, he said the hair, they asked him, had the hair grown in your palm now? He said the hair grew in my palm, but the hair had been taken because the road I leave from Monrovia to Buchanan, the road I came from Monrovia to Ganta, he started naming the development as a reason. So I'm saying that politics is based on interest. When what Chairman Billete listed the two scenarios where Ambassador Boyka and Mr. Cummings opened their mind to accepting the two scenarios that either of them can work, and they sit in a room and decide to build a criteria around the two scenarios, definitely it is a workable tool. But let me end my statement on this issue of the impact. Mr. Toto talked about Mr. Cummings have not had impact. I guess he meant to say a different thing, but he overspoke or he misspoke to have said impact. I don't know which of the political leaders in the Bali politics have had more impact on Liberians in the most recent, since 2017 up to now. That question, we always answer a separate way. But I know Mr. Cummings has had immeasurable impact on Liberia from different spectrum. On the pooling aspect, that when the pooling is not scientific, when the pooling is not issue-driven, the pooling should be about governance. Who best can deal with the issue of good governance? Who can deal with the issue of corruption? Who can deal with the issue of agriculture? Who has a technical know-how on the issue of infrastructure? That is the line of questioning that we are trying to get a company that would have done the CPB VPS process to inform the Liberian people and the delegates as to why you will be electing Cummings or Boyka or Cummings at the primary. So those were issues that we were focused on. I'm still waiting today. I think that Councillor Gonglo and team especially my two brothers, should send a formal communication, an official communication to Councillor Gonglo team requesting an immediate action on Madam Kuyongpa, our own in-law, for the Nimba bill, to withdraw the statement or take effective action against her as a pace setter for the kind of governance structure.
Okay, thanks for your suggestion, but I think you have to stay out of the pure business. I mean, you have the right to make that suggestion, but I don't think it's something that I want any of these two gentlemen to address. Because hold on, Jay. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, Jay. We'll come back to you, Jay. We'll come back to you. Jay, we will come back to you. We will come back to you. We'll come back to you guys. Let's do one at a time.
Can we respond to that, please?
Yeah. Well, you could if you. I will ask you a question, and you're a seasoned politician. You know exactly what to do. I don't even need to open my mouth on that. So, Cecil, let me ask you this one here. Then, you said something earlier which I thought was very interesting, and I think all of us went over our heads when you mentioned the issue of Daniel Chair, where there are some information that perhaps if ANC had made those information available then about Daniel Chair, then I think the attack on Daniel Chair from some of us would have been tempered a little bit. But those was not done, and that gave us reason to go on to say what we say, and then about Daniel Chair. Now that you have done your research on that, will you now consider Daniel Chair involvement with Kumi to be one of a positive thing?
So thank you for that. Unlike the ANC, we who back Councillor Gonglo, we follow his lead. We follow leadership. We follow that this is an academic exercise. And so when you find evidence to the contrary, it is upon you, an educated person, to change course. And the ANC didn't come at me to challenge me on anything I've been saying the last weeks about Daniel Chair. I came out here and said, because I was doing my own research, I was doing more research. And while doing more research to try to arm me more with more information to come at comments for Daniel Chair, I found some evidence to the contrary. And so in our usual LIBERIAN body politics, I'm going to hide it and still continue to pretend I don't see it and still continue to talk stuff about the man. And so I came out here and I said, you know what? I found some things that he actually stood up to Charles Taylor. And because of that, Charles Taylor put him on a house arrest. I think for me, somebody who could stand up to Charles Taylor while working in Charles Taylor government, just like today, the Liberty Party people who can praise the late councillor for standing up to Taylor, I think it should also be spread to Daniel Chair. But for Jonathan, who even after we were saying that they all were running away from him, to now come here now and say, I mean, okay, I want to call it Niba, don't shake your head. To now come here now, for weeks I've been pushing you here. But to now come here now and try to make Talok thing an issue. That we have to talk about over and over and over. I think again back to the issue. Me, and even my brother here, we challenged that. We have already condemned that. As a matter of fact, if the Liberal can bear me witness, if you, Jonathan, can bear me witness, I share those things with you. And I said I stood against it. You see, for us that follow Councillor Gonglo, communication, we don't allow it to sit down and simmer. We brought it out, we condemned it, and we call for action. We did not wait for other people to do our homework for us. That is the difference between understanding the issues and understanding who your candidate is. And by the way, I did not want to talk on the polling issue.
Briefly, please. Briefly.
I did not want to talk on the polling issue, but let me talk about it. As a mathematician, and I teach polling, I teach statistics. The thing they conduct on the air over there is not scientific. Everybody's right. But for Jonathan to want to say that there are certain questions that must be asked, no, that's not how polling works. People, if in Liberia, people just want to find out likability. Likability is a polling question. to find out the likability of the political candidate. It doesn't have to be about their intellect. Yeah, be about likability. Maybe Joe can dance buka better, but everybody is smarter than him, but they want him because he's likable. He can dance with them. And so for me, though, I think the bigger problem that Jonathan just highlighted about the former CPP, and now I'm thinking about for all political parties, why is it that political parties in Liberia don't have internal pooling organs?
Okay. All right. Well, let's save that question for another time, folks. First of all, I apologize to you guys. We came on very late, but at the same time, we have to stay within the time slot allotted for us. So let's go ahead and do a quick round of closing here, Mr. George. Less than a minute, please. Go ahead. Give us your closing.
Since I was not on the show the other day when you made that clarity, let me commend you for that. And I think I highly respect you, because many people will not come to even state that. So I must commend you for that. And secondly, I've always said, Mr. Toe, on the show and anywhere, my aim is for the Liberian people. Anything that people will do that will bring relief to the Liberian people, I will always support it. So even if the opposition now decide that they're coming together, they should do it. Look, let me say this.
Okay. Let's go to Jonathan. Do we know what you say? All right. Okay, let me go to Jonathan. Jonathan, go ahead. Give us a mini closing, please. Quick. Jonathan, are you there? Jonathan, are you with me?
Can you hear me?
So yeah, Mr. George, you keep breaking up. So we'll go to Jonathan. Jonathan, go ahead. Go ahead. Give us a mini closing, please. Less than a minute, Jonathan.
Yes.
Is Jonathan on?
Yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. George. You've been breaking up, but we'll do another time. Go ahead, Jonathan. Less than a minute, please.
Thank God the Roger and Sabah cannot hit my network. But quickly, the ANC is clear from the one of the CPP that we should respect one another. We should respect that the ANC went to the CPP to contest as standard bearer, and we should respect that the Unity Party wants the standard bearership. When we accept this conversation, then we'll sit to have a genuine conversation. I have said here that Mr. Chie is willing to face his accuser on the brink of the TRC. I have dispelled that Mr. Chie had never ever been a general, whether in the U.S. Army or in Liberia, and I stand by those statements and they are public record.
Okay, thank you. On less than a minute. Doc, less than a minute, please.
Yeah, on the issue of Tyler Miller, when I want to do that, condemn Tyler Miller when she made us statement. Even if I even post that on one page, she myself went back to back. If I that Tyler Miller first time, I say again, we are engaged each other. But Tyler, oh my God, sorry, Tyler Koyagba. I don't want to call Tyler Miller today. Somebody I know very well. Tyler Koyagba. We are engaged each other. If that's what type of she make us consider joy we are worth. And I condemn her. I also that went after her for that. So we from the council or Tiwa governor team, we would not shy away when people misbehave or make some irresponsible statement. We not stand support it. When it comes to the polling situation like Liberia, why is it true that the polling Liberia may not be scientific? They would all have any kind of organization that does scientific polling Liberia. If anybody knows one, they should let me know. But these are how they have been done in Liberia from day 1 to 1 from 2017 from 2005 to kind of test the people's mind. Who they should let people go to the street to do the random polling something like whether they like the policy or not. These are things that have been happening and have been conducted in Liberia for the past few times, and Alexander Corbyn's aim lacking or beyond when it comes to the major candidate that contest in Liberia. So that's the point I was trying to say. Yet why is it true that it's irrelevant in the eyes of the people? This is to really work hard, to get across to the mind of the people in Liberia.
Thank you. I mean, that was your reference point, and nobody's going to take that away from you. We appreciate it. Sissy, less than a minute, please. We're way out of time
See
here.
the minute when you get in gift, they stay one thing. Jonathan stay here trying to argue about. I said on the strength of this and they TRC and Louis Brown will face this stuff. I sometimes I can feel sorry for your ANC people. I swear they get your gift, you're for it. They get your gift, you're for it. I don't know. They left there 40 minutes. But anyways, I am saying here that there is an issue that just came up, and I think it should be important. Every political party in Liberia, every serious political party in Liberia, ought to have an internal polling group where they do their own internal polling to find out where their candidates stand and what are like the issues Jonathan raised. What are those issues that the people think are more important, so that it informs the candidate speeches. Right, when you're going places, what do you talk about? Has to be based on the internal polling you've done to find out what are those issues that are polling high among people in Lofa County versus what's polling high among people in Monserrado. But I don't think that exists. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that exists in serious political parties in Liberia, organizations in Liberia. And I think that's why sometimes people just get on the street and talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Okay, thank you. Mr. So, welcome back. We're just closing now. Any closing point from you, Mr. So?
You've been kicking me out all night. So is it this guy?
Mr. So, don't talk. Don't talk.
Look at that. They're planning.
Don't talk.
Folks, look at it. Don't talk. Wait for tomorrow. Your turn.
That's a Russian.
Mr. So, any closing from you before the Liberal take control now?
No, I think it's good for this political party to have a discussion. They must be able to have some leverage over their supporters. If you have a leader, you must listen to your leaders. Your leaders are your leaders. Whether they ugly, they short, they big, small, that's not why it's happening. I can't say Samson to Sisi is my leader, and then when Sisi talk to me, I will not listen. Then I'm not a leader. Then you just take the driving seat. So they have managed to create fear in these people, in their leaders. So for this reason, their leaders always have to seek consultation. Why it is good to have that sort of consultation, but for them to make it like a force. If you don't do this, that will happen. If you can't do this, they intimidate them. But I think it's a good conversation. With respect to the polls, I hope it will be done better. We need to know the burning issues, so that the electorate, because for them, they just want to vote. Or some of them, I'm voting for candidate A because my name is a tie. Oh, say on candidate B, so I gotta go there.
Okay.
I don't want us because everything is being based on perception, and perception is, I think, it's just not a right way to go. But we'll wait and see. But there's something ANC is fighting towards. You see the drumbeat of Hassan Belete today. We'll wait and see how that plays out.
All right.
Yeah, they are testing the water.
Okay. All right, testing the water. Okay, folks, I want to thank all of you. Sisi, Doc, Jonathan, the far right, the center right. Thank you, guys. That would be Mr. George and Mr. Soul. Thank you guys very much.
Just before you close real quick, there are elections going out tomorrow. In Minnesota, we got 4 Liberian candidates that are running for position in Minnesota. So if you're watching us in Minnesota, please get out tomorrow. Vote for those Liberians that are on the ballot. It's not an easy thing to put your name out there to represent your people. And especially coming from LIB, making the 2-3-1 proud. Let's get out there tomorrow and vote for those candidates, please.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, folks, thank you very much,
and
guys.
Mr. Todd, thank you so much. But I will see you, and I will see you.
You will pay for it. So say Joseph Boga, you will pay for it.
Okay.
We are Israeli. We don't let go. If you touch one Israeli, you touch all.
Okay. All right. We'll see. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. So. Thank you very much. And we'll say good night. Again, folks, Samson to LeBron Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again tuning in this evening. Sorry for being late, but it was just some technical issue. And we'll be back tomorrow. And then Wednesday, of course. I want to thank all of you. And we'll say good night to all of you. was a wonderful, wonderful discussion. Thank you very much, and good night.
Aye, to a woman. Dr. Bao, Yajibe, Tabagnoroa, le colonel Svenia Timoléon. Allô? Eh, Sarayo. You're the young Yaji. That's what, yeah? I try well, I try well. I hope I oh,